All right, well, so we have a quorum, so we can really get going, and I'll just write down everybody's name here, and then we can move forward. Um, did everybody get a chance to look at the minutes a little bit?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I got a little advice from Lisa that because we have sometimes lengthy conversations, and she suggested that I can write discussed at length or something like that. And then if anybody wants to go and back and look at what we discussed, they have access to the Zoom. So that's great. So are there any changes or additions to the minutes as printed? The minutes of January 11th, 2021.
I move to accept as they are.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay, awesome. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Awesome. So, all right. All right. Then we get to go right into new business. One thing that Leanne and I don't know how if you guys are all aware of it, but there's a couple of nice kind of townwide Facebook pages where people just chat about stuff that's going on in Groton, whether it's like somebody is having needs donations for something or recommendations for a business, all kinds of things. But a couple of weeks ago, Leanne and I noticed that there was some pretty negative discussion about the amount of trash in the town of Groton, and there was some finger pointing, and it was so. And before I was on the committee, at the very beginning of the committee, I believe there was kind of an Earth Day spring trash cleanup. And is anybody who's here now, did anybody participate in that? Leanne did. I know Rachel and Bruce did, okay, and I know Rachel was, so could you think we could get behind that? And was it a townwide thing? Like, did different people participate, or was it pretty much our committee? We all started in one place and spread out?
And we had quite a few people show up for that, both of them. We did two of them.
Two of them, okay.
Yeah, and in both cases, we had quite a few people show up and take different sides of the street, Route 1 primarily.
Okay.
And we went from about the ballpark down around the ball fields, I should say, up to maybe no, we went from Johnson's up to the shopping center up there, up close to the Big Y.
Okay.
Quite a distance and a huge amount of trash.
Okay. And who supplied, like, obviously probably people needed gloves, and do people wear vests and like trash bags?
The Parks Department, I believe, came down, didn't they, Leanne? And gave us that
Public Works.
Well,
Isn't it Public
Public Works.
Public Works, is that who it was?
Yeah, they supplied the vests and they supplied the bags, and then they did the pickup of the bags, I believe.
That were like left on the sidewalk type of a thing?
I beg your pardon?
Like along the highway, like you fill up a bag, you tie it up and you leave it there, and then they come and pick it up later.
Yeah, that's
Right.
right.
Okay.
We picked them up actually and brought them all back to a central place. That's what happened.
Oh, okay.
It was kind of a pain in the ass, to be honest with you. It was not the kind of thing I would like to do every other weekend.
No, I think we're probably thinking like usually I think it had been brought up previously, maybe in conjunction with Earth Day, when it's a little warmer and hopefully there's no snow on the ground. And obviously we'd want to get a lot of town participation so that people have buy-in for what they are, if you're going to complain about it, you can to kind of empower people to, help clean up some areas. And maybe
we did flyers, and we used all the local places to get it out. We put it on, we had it running on one of the TV stations.
Okay.
put it out on Facebook and it was out on
Yeah.
NOAC Neighbors and it went to the churches, a lot of church groups, the high school.
Okay, okay. All
And
right.
I think I was sick that day and ended up not being able to do it, but I think we were down at the senior center where it
Mhm.
was
Right.
organized from.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And
There
we
was
had
a
probably
reward,
couple
was
dozen
there a
people, so
reward or something?
it was well attended.
Well, like a reward for like, I don't know, most trash or,
I can't
Was
remember.
there was some kind of a prize or something for the number of bags that you were able to collect or whatever,
Yeah.
if you were a group.
okay. All right, okay. How are people feeling about that?
Oh,
I know you don't want to do it every other weekend, Bruce. Would you be willing to do it to commit to once this spring to
Sure.
get it started? Okay, Leanne?
oh, definitely, definitely. And there's also a group in Westerly. They came and helped us, didn't they, Nancy? Remember that guy that has his truck and he goes out periodically?
I think you're right. Yeah.
There's a group in
Yeah.
Westerly and somebody will say it's bad in some area and he just puts out a email and a bunch of them get together and clean it up. And he has the truck all the time, so they're able to do it more often. But
right,
they
well,
some of them came and helped.
Maybe I'll reach out to Rachel because I have a feeling that she was, if I recall, she was heading that up,
Yeah.
wasn't she?
Yeah.
She did a really nice poster too. You could probably ask her again for the poster and we'll just change the dates on it, but she did a
Mhm.
really nice poster for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
And
was
the other
very
thing is we should
successful
really
event.
contact the Navy base
Yeah,
and get some people involved out there because there's a group that have to do service, number one. And I know there are groups of servicemen who work in the cemetery in Mystic, not on the river, but on Route 1. And, give their time that way. So, I mean, that would be a place to get Route 12 cleaned up, maybe. I don't know.
Okay. All right. So is it all right if we look towards later in April? Like the 22nd is always the Earth Day. And that's, I think, is a Friday or Thursday.
Are you back from Florida, Bruce?
I'll be back tax day. Coming back April 15th.
We'll welcome you back with the trash cleanup.
Yeah, thanks.
Who was in our committee? Was that Joan? Because she organizes the other cleanup that they do down at Bluff Point and the areas around, and that's probably Earth Day, but we might check so that we could kind of make it a universal thing throughout Groton.
Yeah, I would suggest that we do a lot more than we did last time. Get a good bunch of people and not just concentrate on that little part of Route 1, although that was a big deal. But there are a lot of other places that we could do. If we could get enough people, we could do like a community-wide thing.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Well, I'll start by calling Rachel or emailing her and see if she's got some stuff.
So if we have a date, can we just set a date today? And that way, if I get people who are going to make a commitment, I can at least tell them this is the date
Mhm.
to save
Yep.
the date.
Good idea.
Well,
What's the
the
date?
Earth Day.
the Saturday after Earth Day is the 24th. So we'd be the weekend of the 24th and 25th, but do we need to first check and see if there's anything else happening? I would think it would be around that time if there was any townwide gatherings to do
I don't think
something positive.
I don't think there's anything that's townwide. We do want to, if we have a date, like what Nancy said, I can get the Rotary out that day to do Thomas Road.
Okay.
It's a different area, but it can count towards ours. But
I'll contact the superintendent and see if she'll do something with all the schools.
All right, so do we want to say April 24th? I don't have anything on my calendar here. It's not, I think, yeah, April
That's good.
24th is a Saturday, last Saturday in April.
That's good.
That would be good.
Okay,
If you want, I have a contact at the base. I'll be happy to call them and get them to pencil in that date. So that
okay.
we can.
Yeah, I'll need to talk with Greg Hanover from Public Works and see how many like vests they could provide and things like that. But it would be nice if we started something and then other groups could pick different parts of the
Exactly.
town.
Good. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so April 24th, that's the date, and we're gonna get started on that. I'll let Patrice Grantowski know, because she was also in on that, the chain of discussion in the town about what we might do about trash pickup and whose job it was.
I told the lady to go out and pick it up.
Yeah, yes, you did. Yes, you
I
did.
said it nicely.
Yes, you did. Yeah, exactly. Certain places I've seen, it's not safe. For a while, if you were getting on the on-ramp for 95, leaving Groton, and there was a lot of trash there, which I don't know if it was picked up or what, but it's no longer there, or maybe the snow took it away. But I thought, how would you be there? People are coming around a corner, heading onto 95. It could be a pretty challenging place to clean up. So,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to worry about the things that are places that are easier to clean up and not as that we're not, taking our lives in our hands.
Right.
All right.
I'll try to also contact, because I know the churches have the ministers and rabbis and everybody they have group meetings, whether they're on Zoom or not.
Mhm.
But I'll try to get churches involved in this as well.
Okay, that would be great. I think that would be great if
I can do.
we could do it townwide.
Townwide, right?
Yeah. All right. Moving on to communications. Does anybody have any communications that they wanted to bring up or that they had?
And I'm sorry, Cindy, I'm sorry, can we just go back? Can you just get a copy of the poster updated and get it out to us?
Yes. Yes.
I mean, we'll really only have maybe 2 months to get this together, and it's so difficult in these times with no communication.
Okay,
Yeah.
actually, then
So
I guess
the
we
more
should
time
talk
we
about
have, the better.
what about a time frame then? What's our time frame?
Well, as soon as you talk
On that
to,
day, or
public service, then Public Works, we can probably stop pushing it.
Okay, but like, are we thinking like 10 a.m.?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, I'm talking differently than you are.
And we did it like, I think about 9:30 or so. 10 o'clock is good. And we stopped, I think around, I don't know, we were there a long
3.
time, actually, early afternoon, maybe 2 or 3 in
was
the afternoon.
3 or 4,
All right.
yeah, 3 or 3:30,
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, if I can find the old poster, it will probably say right on there. Like, right,
Yeah.
I'm
Very
gonna
good.
pencil in 10 to 2.
Good.
4 hours
Yeah.
picking up garbage is
Yeah.
probably
And again,
my
Rachel,
max.
I think Rachel has it.
Okay,
Right.
I'll be in touch with her. All right, now communications. Anybody have any communications? Because I got a bunch, and I did all the talking last time, and I'm going to try to avoid doing
Go
that.
for it, go for it.
That's fine. Go right ahead.
All right. So I did talk with Mark Berry, who's the director of Parks and Rec, about the signs. Nancy had mentioned that there is a sign, BB Pond sign, and I took a picture of it, and it's very nice. He said that they are replacing deteriorated signs as they go along. The signs that can't be fixed and that need to be replaced, they will replace with the proper signs from the wayfinding brochure that Tabitha provided to us. They're not planning any plantings around those type of signs right now. They have other, like they plan on replacing the Sutton Park sign and the planter. So since if there is a planter, they would need to do some plantings around it. He said the types of plantings they do would be exemplified by the plantings around the Groton Senior Center sign, on your way into the where the electronic sign is, which very simple, very low maintenance. He is down at least 1 or 2 staff members. So in the summer, they're basically doing a 40-hour week, just maintaining grass and park areas. So they don't have a lot of extra time to maintain any new plantings. Let's see. He is very interested in us doing something at par 4, which we discussed a couple of years ago. And he loves the idea of grasses. And guess who else is here with us today who also loves grasses and thought she might be able to come up with a nice design for us? Just happens to work for the town by the name of Tabitha. So she is very enthusiastic about that. Once again, we have to pull something together and then see what the cost would be. And once again, this has been brought home to me numerous times. If we are going to plant anything, it shall die if it is not watered. Now, par 4, obviously there's water there, and there are human beings there who probably could be tasked with watering something for the first couple of seasons. Anything we plant, we will probably have to be responsible for in other areas of town, watering until it's at least established. So I talked with somebody today and they reminded me of that. And I thought, okay, we're trying to start small, but Mark Berry, who is the director, that's par 4 is quite a ways off our corridor, but I think it would be really nice to continue to build a relationship with the Parks and Rec, because the park maintenance is actually what would be maintaining any plantings, might be able to work in a little bit of maintenance of plantings that we might put in. So he would be very thankful for anything that we could do, and he is going to continue to put in signs as they are able. Leanne, Andrew, and I met Steve Post, who is the Groton tree warden, a lovely, supportive gentleman who works for the town, on January 21st at 1 o'clock at the, he brought one of the staff people from the parks maintenance, and we walked over to the Avery Memorial and walked all around the property, and there was a significant amount of trash there, which has already been picked up. Believe it or not, the town took care of it immediately within a week. But they can't really they are happy to remove brush. There's a lot of invasive brush undergrowth there. They will remove it, but if we can maintain it. So it's been done before, and I sent out to you this landscape plan, which actually is a true landscape plan by Brian Kent, which was done 20 years ago. So I called Brian today. I haven't heard back from him yet about what the story was there, because that was 20 years ago. He did an actual landscape plan, and obviously nothing went forward with it. I don't know. Removing the briars and invasive is one thing. Keeping them from coming back is a whole other thing. But I believe, Leanne, you said that Jim Streeter and possibly people from the Avery Memorial might be interested in maintaining the area if we could clear it out.
Correct.
Okay.
They'll take care of it after we clean it up.
Okay. There's a nice little bridge. There's a lot of, if the first thing to do would be to clear it out. It is almost all wetlands. I did speak also with Deb Jones from Planning and Zoning. Anything, if you want to dig, like we talked about the nice art pads that Joy had sketched out, anything that needed a footing and you had to move soil about, or if you were going to attach any type of electricity or anything like that, anytime there's any digging of soil or moving of soil, you has to go through the Inland Wetlands Committee. So I have no idea how that would be looked upon at the town. All I know is we'd have to go in front of the committee with a very specific plan. And Steve is very happy to work with us at any point. I also have been communicating with Greg Hanover, who is the Director of Public Works, as well as Deb Jones, who I just mentioned to you. I'm gonna bring up Greg again when we talk about the trash cans in downtown Mystic. He did say that they are, placing the wayfinding signs kind of as they move forward. They're being purchased. The parks maintenance does any kind of planting, and the Public Works can provide mulch, but they don't actually do the planting. So his question was, if we did some plantings, who was planting it? So I don't know that yet, but either we can do it, or possibly if it was not during the main grass growing season, possibly parks maintenance might be able to help if they had the time. They're pretty short staffed.
Cindy, can I bother you for a minute? What are we talking about planting? What, where?
I think I'm sorry. I specifically was talking right then about the 117 and Route 1. That's like the main
Okay.
place
Well,
I was thinking
and
about.
let me mention one other thing before I forget about it. I know that Inland Wetland Committee is a tough committee.
Mhm.
There is another way around that whole thing that Joy mentioned, for a platform, instead of putting in piers, cement piers. We
Mhm.
could do that. You would use 6x6s and heavy duty kind of lumber and provide a platform, as opposed to like sinking something into the earth. That way, I think it's considered temporary because it can be removed. It'd be very heavy, of course, and it would have to be, but that would eliminate one problem. So that we could go forward with some art in that respect and not have to, we'd probably have to run it by them anyway, but it would not be the kind of thing that would create havoc with that committee, because I know what they're like. I just went through their committee a couple of times in the last couple of years. They're okay, but they have to adhere to the letter of their law.
Right, the wetlands soil is well protected, as it should be. So
Yeah, no, that's fine.
okay, thank you, Bruce. Tabitha, what were you going to say?
I
What's that?
was just gonna, I attended the Rotary meeting earlier this week, and I don't want to speak out of turn, Leanne, but we did discuss volunteers from the Rotary doing planting.
Oh,
And, maybe pitching in with something there.
Yeah, it is a pretty strong movement towards the Rotary making a very significant donation to being able to put the sign up at 117 and Route 1. I'm pretty confident they're probably going to give $10,000 for it.
Oh,
Now,
that'd be great.
whether the sign costs that much or not, I'm not sure. I can't remember what Bronk said. Not Bronk.
Paige.
Page.
Thank you. Thank you. But there might be some money there that if they don't need it for the sign, we can have it for the flowers.
Okay.
No problem with that at all.
Okay.
So, there also, I don't know if you some of you probably noticed, this week, Wednesday, they're actually going to give a check to the town to purchase that land by the library where they're going to be putting the sub-memorial.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a perfect time to be doing something down there.
Exactly. I agree.
That'll all come together so nicely.
Yeah, I agree. Our timing's good.
Yeah.
Okay, I did send a message. I wanted to let you know just today, however, it slipped through the cracks. Bruce, I did send a message to Wendy. Tabitha had been in touch with her previously about the doing something to the utility boxes. But I specifically, your request was, did she have any local contacts? And I sent her an email. I have not heard back from her yet, but I just did it today. So she gave Tabitha a lot of information about how to go about possibly getting it to be paid for. But we were looking for specific contacts. And I said, hopefully maybe somebody local, although then you also said it's like a 3M type of a thing, right?
It is 3M, yes.
Yeah.
They do it everywhere. I mean, they do it on
Right.
cars, trucks, you know,
Okay.
utility boxes are just one piece of that puzzle. And they do it all over the place down here. So what we want to know is there's some place in Rhode Island, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and you want somebody that's a pro to do it. We don't want to do it ourselves.
Right.
Mm.
We want it to look good and to make a good
Yeah.
impression. Okay.
I went out and got a list of the numbers on the boxes, so I'll get those. I wasn't sure what to do with it. You know, you wanted the information, so I have it from the sub base all the way to Mystic. All the numbers, so that whoever you contact, you can say to them, you know, da 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 da.
Yeah.
So if you figure out who you'd like it to go to, I'd be happy to take care of that.
I believe Tabitha has a contact.
Yeah, I have a contact at Groton Utilities. So why don't you send it to me, Leanne? And that's great. I can ping him. I can send it to him, and we can decide who owns what.
Okay, okay. They all but one seem to be the same. They were all silver. They were all numbered consistently, and there was one green one, and that was it. The whole length of Route 1, or well, I don't know where it turns in from 12 to 1, but
Right.
that whole area.
Okay. Well, awesome. Thank you for doing that. I specifically sent Tabitha a couple of the utility boxes right near the Avery Memorial, one right on the corner and one across the street. That could be a nice starting spot for us.
And Cindy, if Wendy doesn't have any information, you know, I'll be happy to figure that out, maybe with Joy, because we both have like interests in that respect.
Okay.
And get it going, you know, because
Yeah,
when we decide that we want to do it, we want to figure out how much money it's going to cost. But we have to find that out from somebody who actually does this stuff.
Right.
There got to be somebody around that
Yeah.
does it locally.
Have you ever had any experience with that, Joy?
I'm not really sure which we're talking about. The utility boxes? Are we on the
Yeah.
art tab?
Wrapping the utility boxes in vinyl wrap.
No, who was it that was a local? It was a Grasso grad doing work in Waterford. A sign company that specialized in car wraps.
yeah.
That's who usually does it.
Yeah,
That's who usually
I
does
don't
it.
remember the name. I want to say it was Critical Signs, but I could be wrong.
Critical Signs, it's out on 85. Yeah, out on 85, just past the Speed Bowl. There's a sign company there, and I'm quite sure they're the company that does the wrapping of the cars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've been by there many times.
Yeah.
So that's a way to get some art out right away, you know, as opposed to like putting a sculpture up on the
Right.
corner of Shanticosset and Route 1 there.
Right.
And it would immediately get some attention, I think. We could put some in the city and in the town. I
Yeah.
mean, it would really be a way to jumpstart something, I think.
Yeah. Wendy had some good suggestions, like if you were looking for actually getting additional monies, is to have a theme or something that was a current interest. You know, although Bruce, you showed us the one of the crossing area, and there's a couple areas, especially that area that we're talking about, Route 12 and what Route 117 and Route 1, where they come together. I mean, there's a lot of families there, and there's a lot going on there. And if we could slow the traffic down and get people to look around a little bit more, I think it would be great. So, but critical signs. So we were thinking, Joy, that this might be a quicker, like a little first step that we could get people interested in.
Mhm.
And, you know,
Mhm.
all right, well, I'd be happy to, well, I'll wait to hear from Wendy and then,
Yeah,
but
let's wait for her, but, and see what she said. If she has some contacts, terrific. If not, then we'll just go off and do it ourselves.
yeah, okay. All right. Okay, if we move on to unfinished business, we
Sure.
got a bunch of that stuff.
Do you want me, I actually have 2 contractors working on quotes for the concrete pad idea. I'm not sure if that's still of interest, but that's supposed to come in about within the week.
Oh, lovely.
Sure, good.
That's excellent. That's
So
excellent.
wherever it lands, they all know it's volunteer. They know I'm on the committee. They know my work with Subtrail. So I think that they understand it, you know, depending on where we're at. They're very patient, but so that's food for thought.
Oh, that's
Mhm.
excellent. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be so interested to find out the estimate. You know, I don't know anything about that kind of business. So thank you so much.
Right. Well, one of the contractors is actually a carpentry graduate from Grasso Tech who has actually done work for myself and other people that I know. And because he's a grad, there's a great chance that we'll talk him into doing some volunteer work. So
Invest in your community, young person, right?
that's right. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the time to get back. So I'll be working on that over the next week, but I'll let you know how it comes out.
Thank you so
Great.
much. Appreciate your time and effort in that
Mhm.
and your contacts. I sent you guys out. I know we don't want to spend too much time on this, but every meeting, but I've sent out some ideas for mission statements. I did want to ask Tabitha. I put the word inclusive in there to enhance the quality of life in Groton through the implementation of inclusive beautification projects. My husband says don't use beautification when you're talking about the beautification committee. So he circled that. Don't use beautification. It's redundant. So, but they talked about, and then he said, well, are they inclusive? I said, well, I was thinking inclusive meant that we were talking about from one part of Groton, you know, to Mystic. We're talking about a fairly long area now. Or are they talking, when you're talking about inclusive, and obviously everyone can participate, everyone can enjoy an art walk, everybody can enjoy if we're able to make an installation of art. If I went by the area that Nancy mentioned last time, I took a picture of it, the boardwalk. There's a sign there. Unfortunately, the gazebo no longer has a roof. So I'm not sure what happened there. It used to have a roof. But you know, there's many parts of the town that we want to, there's no exclusion of anybody, but I'm not sure if the use of inclusive is okay.
Yeah.
I think personally, I think it throws a lot of different meanings at people. People use the word inclusive in a lot of different ways, and it might be confusing. I think the more basic goals and ideas that we have, it's better. It kind of jumped out at me when I saw it.
Okay. The thing that we talked about last week though is, and that Tabitha actually brought to mind, was quality of life. We're talking about a quality of life. And anyways, so does anybody have any comments? Do we want to wait until kind of we can really sit and hash this out? Because I don't want to spend an entire meeting, especially for those who aren't on the committee or aren't particularly interested in talking about the mission statement. If it's a hard thing to hash out, I think, on Zoom. This is one of the few.
It is.
Does anybody have any, did you guys, I meant for it to be attached, but to the meeting, to our agenda. And that didn't happen. So I just did send it out today. So did anybody have a chance to look at it? Do we want to wait until and maybe send me email comments or?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't really put any time into it. I am sorry.
That's
Did
okay.
you
It was
send it
very
out
late.
today?
It was late. It was today. So,
Oh,
Oh, why don't you send it out? We'll just send back a couple. I didn't read it either, but
Okay.
be happy to send some comments back to you.
Okay. Because I have longer ones and shorter ones. So, okay.
You sent it as a PDF, Cindy?
I did. I think
Yeah, maybe if you send it as a Word doc, then we can track changes if we want to edit anything.
well,
Mhm.
I don't
the
want to
problem
edit
is-
anything, but
The problem is that I have a Mac and so it's in notes, which is fine, but when it may not transfer well, I think.
I mean, you
I
don't
mean, I
have
can try.
Microsoft Word? You don't have Word?
No, we got this new Mac and it didn't come with Word. And so we
Oh.
said, oh, we'll just try notes.
Should
And
bring it back then.
I probably do. It makes certain things a little more difficult. So, but at the time I thought, oh, I'm not really doing that much. So maybe we might have to make a new decision on that.
I
So,
kind of like number 4, actually. I think number 4 speaks to what we're trying to do. And it just says to beautify Groton and
Okay.
foster economic growth through the addition of art and landscape projects.
Beautiful. That's it.
yeah, that's nice and simple.
It's simple. It speaks to what we're trying to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
how do you guys feel about, let's see, my husband, who's better writer than I am, he
He
wrote,
doesn't want beautify, right?
well, no, he doesn't like beautify. He said that's already in the name of the committee. And he also said it's vague.
tell them to write it.
Does he have a suggestion to
Oh,
replace?
no, he did the longer one. He kind of took them all together. I think it's the last one, to enhance the appearance of our community, which is the same thing as beautify, but in more words, through the addition of art and landscape projects that foster economic growth in Groton. So it's,
I didn't scroll down to the
That works
last one.
too.
That's a good one.
all right,
Cabot?
well,
What did you say?
I think that works too. It's a little bit longer, but not too bad.
I like number 6. We want to enhance the appearance of our community through the addition of art and landscape projects that also foster economic growth in Groton. Perfect.
Yep. That's good too.
Mission statement, mission accomplished.
do you guys want to vote on it now, or do we want to look it over? Leanne said she hadn't looked it over much and neither had Bruce. Do you just want to be done?
I just checked my email. I didn't see it. Is it an addendum or something, or didn't come through on today's
It
email?
should have
it's-
come from me, and it was an attachment.
Oh,
And it went
okay.
out at
All
11:18
right.
this morning.
It's
It was this
not from the
morning.
town then. Okay,
No.
okay. Gotcha.
All right, so how about you want to vote on it? Well, we're going to vote on this in March.
Okay.
Okay.
Unless you want to just vote on it right now. Do you want to just vote on it? You want to do
Yes.
this?
You all like
Yes.
that? You want to hear it again one more time? You want
Yes,
to
I've
hear
got
it?
it now. I've got it now. Okay.
To enhance the appearance
Leanne, you
of,
want to hear it?
I tell you, I think number 4 is
Leanne?
pretty good too. I like 4.
Yes.
Yes, I do, even though it has beautify in it.
But 6 also, it says pretty much the same thing and it makes us look
And-
more professional.
And 6 sounds good too.
Yeah.
In fact, I think 6 is probably the
I vote we
one I would
adopt,
pick.
I'm all in favor of adopting number 6 on the mission statement menu.
Second that.
oh,
Statement.
All right, it has been, there, how do I say it? It's been moved and
Mhm.
seconded that mission statement number 6 that I sent out earlier today be adopted as the Beautification Committee's mission statement. Is there any discussion on that? Seeing none, let's vote on who would like the mission statement number 6 to be our future mission statement. You could just raise your hand so I can count. All right, so I guess we don't have to do the abstaining or, all right, so that motion carries. All right, we're done with that then, that you won't say that on the unfinished business.
Progress.
Great, okay.
Right.
Let's see.
Hey, Ian, what's hanging behind you? What is that?
Oh, the peacock. It's,
No, the diploma. It looks like a diploma.
oh, you know what that is? I am it's a reward from the National Association of Realtors. I can't pronounce it. It's EMERITUS status.
Emeritus, right?
Thank you. And I
Emeritus.
know they have a review committee, and after you've been in for so many years, they go through the review committee, and if you reach all the standards they're looking for, they name you as such, and you don't pay dues anymore. And so
Wow.
it was very nice, very nice.
Congratulations, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
That's right. So basically, if anybody has any questions about real estate, we go to Leanne.
That's it.
Know it all.
Right.
That's it.
I already knew that though.
They don't know me. They gave me that.
No.
That's not true.
But I was just thrilled when it happened. I
That's great.
had no idea. So the National Associations gave me a pat on the head.
Awesome. And there's many realtors out there. So that was really quite an accomplishment because there's, a lot of people come and go and you have staying power and you've got all that knowledge in your noggin.
Thank you. But I need listings. So if you know anybody wants to sell, let me know.
Okay. Aren't there more buyers than sellers right now?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
the thing. We don't have enough listings.
Okay.
So it's slowing down the market.
Okay. I'll keep you in mind.
Thank you.
Did everybody look at the moving on to 6.2 Gmail account? Andrew sent out his ideas about starting this Gmail account that we had discussed previously. He's a little he was not sure if that's really the way we want to go. I did speak with Lisa Hilton before we started this, today, and she didn't know that it was really much of a concern one way or another. How is everybody feeling? Do we need to? I've been getting things and then sharing them with you, which of course, sometimes there's a lag, or maybe sometimes things I think I've shared, maybe I haven't, or vice versa. Whereas if we had a one Gmail and we were all going through there, we would all be able to see each other's emails.
I think that I understand his concerns, but I really don't think we have to worry about it too much. Maybe what we could do is do it through the town. Tabitha, do you think we could do that? I mean, all of us go on to the town site, right? There
Do
must-
emails through the town?
Yeah,
I don't know. I think they can set up an email for you have an email for the beautification
that.
committee, right?
right.
We don't. We thought we did, but we actually
Right.
don't, I don't believe. But Lisa said there's only a certain number of email addresses that the town supports, and then you have to pay extra, I believe, something.
Yeah, they have to pay us. It's not a big fee, but they do have to pay something to set up. So they limit how many they
Yes.
want you to so you probably wouldn't want individual ones, but I wouldn't see why you wouldn't have one for the whole committee.
Well, that's what I was kind of thinking, although now that I've said that, most people aren't familiar with the town site. Like we go to it without thinking about it, but if you're not using it for meetings and so forth, you don't go there.
Well, the one thing that Lisa did say is that anything that I send to her or that I have, like say there's some type of presentation, she can always attach that to the meeting, to the minutes, to the agenda, so that if somebody were to go on the site to look up the beautification committee, they could see that. But that I was a little bit concerned about that because I want to make sure everybody gets the same information. Certainly they don't need to read our emails. And she said, you just can't talk. We couldn't take a vote on anything on a private Gmail account. That kind of stuff is supposed to happen in the public domain. So I said, well, we wouldn't be doing that. We're just talking about, who can meet the tree warden, and maybe Tabitha has something she wants to share with us, or I have something, Bruce has a really nice picture, or Joy maybe gets a something that she wants to share with us. Instead of having to say, okay, who are all these people I need to send it to? You just work all through the Gmail account, and then everybody has access to it.
Can I make a suggestion? Tabitha, how about you talk to the IT guy? He's great. And he could probably make a suggestion that we're not even thinking of.
Well,
I could contact him too, but it would mean more to you because you understand all these things that I don't necessarily understand.
you know how you like to sell it, Leanne. I'll do it. It's fine. But I was going to say that Google might not be a bad option, because then you know your issue of not having Word, and you could have Google Docs you could share. If everyone had Gmail accounts, then you could all use Google and share documentation that way. But I don't know how the town feels. I mean, maybe they don't care. You were saying they don't seem to really care. So,
well, I specifically got a email from Lisa saying we actually don't have an email, and they're trying to keep them limited because they're trying not to go over however many they have been allotted. So she specifically was the one who said, no, you don't have an email, so maybe you could try having a different account.
A Gmail account is really the best way to go, I think.
Yeah.
That's why I suggested it. I manage two of them, and they're
Right.
pretty easy to set up. So that would be my suggestion.
And then we don't have to go through the town, right? We don't have to
Right.
get the town involved in a Gmail account. It can be just our group.
Yes. But did you
That
read
makes more sense to me.
Did you read the email though from Andrew? He's just concerned about if there was a freedom of information request, which I don't think is, there wouldn't be anything, we wouldn't be doing anything on there that wouldn't be shareable. We're not talking about
That's right.
anything about making rules and regulations, or
No,
that would really,
there's
that
no
could be done at our
policy or
meeting.
anything.
It's really just a place where all the documents can stay.
Yeah.
Like I have right now on my own computer, a beautification committee folder that has everything in it, so I can go back and search it. This
Yeah.
way you guys would all be able to do that too.
If you have a group list, it's automatically maintained anyway, has all of that information on it. So if anybody ever did want to see anything, you can grab it, give it to them.
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
So
Google really is the best option. I agree with Bruce.
yeah, I think, but I'm not a great IT person. So I did check with Lisa, but she didn't think that there was too much of an FOI concern, unless we did started doing business on it, which you just can't do. This is really just information sharing.
So will Andrew set it up, or?
He didn't set it up
What do
because
you-
he's concerned. He sent
No,
that.
are
I'm
you
sorry.
thinking he will do that? Is that where we're going with this?
He doesn't sound like he's all that comfortable with it. He sent
Oh.
out the email.
Well-
That's the impression I got.
So Bruce, you want to manage another group?
Yeah,
Well-
I prefer to be somebody in Groton when, that I'm not around, but yeah, I could do it. Why don't you ask Andrew, tell him we suggest that he put it together. We're all in favor of putting it together. See what he says. If he
Okay.
doesn't want to do it, I'll do it. Yeah.
Okay.
But because once it's set up, it's almost, it doesn't really require any kind of maintenance at all, unless
Right.
somebody drops out of the email list and you want
Okay.
to add somebody. That's all there really is to it.
Yep.
But we all have to have Gmail accounts, is that?
It's easier if you have Gmail accounts, yeah. But you can use any account. I mean, it doesn't make any difference.
Yeah, you go in with it, with anything. They'll talk to each other.
Yeah.
Mhm. See
Okay.
what he says.
All right, awesome. Okay, well, I'm gonna send him and I'll send him another email.
Okay.
6.3, talking about an alternate committee member opening. Leanne spoke with a gentleman who may be interested. I spoke with a contact of mine through the Trillium Garden Club, Wendy Kelleher. She's pretty busy. She's also working on the project at the library. Have you heard about that, where they're kind of doing a walking path and some gardens there? But I was hoping she'd be able to attend, but if people can't make the time to actually attend, then they probably can't make the time to push forward. So I'm still looking for someone who has the time and the interest of coming to a couple meetings and seeing if they're even interested in being an alternate member. So the search continues. Now, what we've all been waiting for, 6.4, Avery Memorial. Although the Mystic garbage cans is a good one too. I got some good news on that one. So that's, Joy's gonna get us some estimates. And Joy, would that be like an estimate for there or any other place that we could potentially choose? We're talking about the same type of estimate for the same type of thing, correct?
Yeah, I don't know how, it's been a while since I actually did the design. I'm not sure how recently you guys have seen the pad design, the rendition I did. But it's just a boilerplate. And it's for the pad, the masonry and the benches, and then some, it's all a ballpark, right, for solar powered power options, and that's something that I'm relying on my contractor to kind of help with. But basically, it's the idea was that the pad would be the same if you were to do more than one throughout. They create different nodes that go throughout different points throughout the community, and be connected visually through them being parallel design, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so it would be the same for each one.
Okay. Awesome. Okay.
Mhm.
And that includes the benches. It's not just the pad then, it's really the whole schematic.
Yeah, and so what I'll do is I'll have him itemize things, because we don't know what the budget's going to come in at, and we don't know what we're working with and what we can get, he's willing to work with us on. So what I'll do is try to have him itemize that out for us, so that way if we find that it's more cost effective to just go with the pad and then the masonry that surrounds, that's fine. And we can sort of pick and choose what we want to keep with that if we need to.
Excellent. Excellent. I'm really enthusiastic about that. Thank you.
Me too. You're welcome.
The utility boxes we briefly spoke about. I will hopefully hear something from Wendy. If not, anybody else want to reach out to Critical Signs? Or would you like me to do that? I'm happy to do it.
If you want, I know them. I can give them a call.
Do you know them? Really?
Yeah.
That's good.
All right.
Or maybe they know somebody who does it too, if they don't do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Did they paint the sign on the side of your car, Leanne?
What's that?
Leanne?
What's
Did
that?
they paint the information
Yeah.
on your
What'd you say?
car? Did they
Yeah, they would. I
on
used
the
to have a
back of
big
your car, the
balloon on my car.
leanne.com?
I'm
All right. Well, that would be good, because if we could get some ideas of how, like, the different possibilities that there might be for these wraps, whether they can design them, I think Bruce mentioned maybe you could send a picture. Or if they have stock designs, or and how much they cost. And I imagine they could be kind of custom too, because each utility box, some of them, I was looking back at one that you sent me, Bruce, that had a heron on it. And there's like
Yeah.
little things that stick out, and those all have to be covered too as part of the design. All right, well, good. Maybe we can move forward on that. Now, at our last meeting, Nancy brought up and Bruce concurred that the downtown Mystic garbage cans are unsightly. I reached out.
All of them. No, Groton, downtown Groton, everything.
Yeah.
Every garbage can from here to wherever. They all
Uh-oh.
need to be
Well, I
painted.
talked with Greg specifically because I don't even know where they are, where the garbage cans are. I certainly am aware of the ones in Mystic. I brought up the Seagull, and Greg Hanover, who's the director, has been around long enough. He said yes, he had seen the Seagulls. I asked him a couple of things. One, I asked him about, quite a while ago, Wendy had talked about the crosswalks and the coloring of the crosswalks. And he said that's a state road. The road I asked him about was a state road, and we'd have to check with the state. When I looked into it more, many months ago, Wendy had said any kind of art or color or anything like that can actually slow traffic. Since then, there's been some pushback in that the feds have said, well, crosswalks are a very standard looking item. So that way across the country, and basically maybe even across the world, everybody knows what they look like. So there have been a lot of very interesting changes that some places have make very attractive crosswalks. I don't know if that's even a possibility, but when I talked to him about the trash cans, he actually came back to me the other day and said, I think my guys have some time. What do you want to do with the trash cans?
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
great.
Yeah.
Do they have
So-
paint? They have time and paint?
Well, so I had mentioned to him, because I'd originally started out by asking him about the wayfinding signs. So I thought, let's talk using the colors of the wayfinding signs, which is blue, purple, green, and orange.
Orange.
Yes, that little nice starburst thing. He had, I don't know, I'm assuming he knows the colors because he knows the wayfinding signs. So I specifically talked with him about the difference between the recycling and the trash. I mean, and I went down there today, this is in Mystic, and you've got two trash cans sitting next to each other. You've got a wood trash can and a trash can sitting next to each other. You've got a metal trash can and a metal recycling can. It's all mixed up. They're all green. There's a couple of blue ones. There's some wood ones. The wood ones, he informed me, came when they did the streetscape. And so when they did the streetscape, that was part of it, was those wood trash cans. Well, guess what? They're not as big. And actually, the merchants specifically requested the larger trash cans because the nice, attractive wood ones just weren't holding the trash. So they brought these green cans. Some of them, they will say recycle on them. One of them has the recycling logo on it, but it might be turned, so you can't even see it. What I know, I found a plastic bottle on the road and I went to go put it in the recycling bin, and I'm like, I couldn't tell what I was putting it into. So he thought that blue often stands for recycling. So he was hoping maybe we could do some recycling in blue. And what else did we want? Did we want to maybe do some stripes? So I said, hey, I've got a meeting. I mean, this was like Friday, I think. So I was like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? We don't want to miss it. Well, I'm trying to, if I can find the actual, yeah.
Did he show you a picture of the old blue cans that had the seagulls on them?
I did not see a picture of that. He does remember them. And he also did say that their shop may be able to do a simple vinyl design.
Because all you have to do,
All you
and I
really
think how
need
they,
is
what's that?
all
I
you
think
really
how they
need is
did
a
it before
stencil and
was they
some
used
spray
the-
paint.
A stencil.
Correct.
A stencil.
But I didn't want to try to tell him how to do it, seeing that it was his workers who were doing it. So I don't know for him if a stencil is easier or if it's easier to have a stick-on thing. but, you know, how do you guys, are you okay? I'm just thinking of continuity, and the colors used in the wayfinding signs might be nice to pick
No,
out.
that'd be great. The
some-
colors would be good. I mean, the seagull is white, and it was a stylized seagull. It wasn't, didn't look exactly like a seagull. Kind of looked
Right.
like kind of looked like one of the crows in some of those old paintings by Van Gogh,
Was it fairly large?
Yeah, well, it was one of the most attractive things about Mystic really was that those garbage cans, they were blue.
He does remember, so
They're
there
really
might be
pretty.
some kind of, Joy, do you remember that at all? No, me
They were
either.
just 55-gallon drums.
Yeah,
That's what they were.
these are just drums.
Yeah, but I mean, they had, I don't know how many seagulls there were on there, but I mean, we could figure it out, or he could figure it out. It almost wouldn't make any difference, because anything would be better than what we have, as Nancy says.
Exactly. And I think
Yeah.
if you're going to have a
But is
trash
it-
can,
We're talking about two different things, that we're talking about the recycle and trash, correct? So
yes,
somehow we have to help him distinguish how these cans can be distinguished between recycle and trash. And I think I'm excited that they can be painted and we can spruce things up all through Groton, not just in Mystic.
Mhm.
But yeah, put the seagulls on the recycle ones and do something else on the trash.
Yeah, we could do something like that, figure out something that would be better for trash, some sort of a motif.
yeah,
That wouldn't
I
be hard. We
actually
could
think
come up with something.
you're probably going to have the word recycle or the recycle emblem on the recycling can.
That's fine. That would be okay.
But
Sure.
So you guys are okay with the color scheme?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, the other thing that I thought was kind of attractive is if you look at the wayfinding signs, there's a little starburst.
Yeah.
I thought would be
Yeah.
pretty. But I don't know if that's 4 colors. I don't even know if that's a possibility.
Well, that would be, maybe if that was enlarged and put on the regular garbage cans, that might look good too.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but from the way you describe it, that sounds kind of interesting.
Kind of reminds
Or
you-
again,
This road,
create,
Wait, hold on.
Create-
Tabitha, I'm sorry.
I think it's a compass rose, the little starburst.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
that
there
might
you go.
work better because then it would match the wayfinding program.
Mhm.
Right.
that
and
would-
it could be a stencil. We could
There you
get a
go. The whole thing is
stencil for
decided.
that very easily.
Yeah, we can always spray paint them on. If they get the barrels together, we could decorate them.
Well, right now he's saying he's going to do it. So I'm not going to volunteer us until he
Absolutely.
can't do it.
Nope,
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
fine. That's fine.
And I don't know if
Cindy, who is he?
Greg,
Who is he?
Greg Hanover of Public Works.
He's a great guy.
yeah.
He's a great
Really,
guy.
really nice guy. Yeah. He's doing a wonderful job.
Can we suggest that we use those two designs for the different functions of the can? Maybe a stylized seagull on the recyclables, and the one that Tabitha mentioned, the compass rose for the others?
Absolutely. That's the first thing I'm going to do tomorrow morning is send him an email after the UConn game, maybe even. But I love your enthusiasm, and you know what? I'm feeling so enthusiastic too, because I feel like if we can get something done and we're really moving forward. I'm
Can
excited.
you let him know that we're thinking not just Mystic though? Will you let him know that we're thinking on a bigger scale all the way through Groton?
Yeah, where are the trash cans in Groton?
Well, there aren't any anymore. There used to be, but they used to be at Groton.
That's why
Shopping
there's so
Center.
much trash on the ground,
Right.
because we have no trash cans. That's
Like at Groton Shopping Center, there used to be a chain on the bottom, and they would go on the posts in the front. And when they did over the other shopping center, they never brought them back, I don't believe.
Okay.
So,
Well, I'll ask him, because I know that I had asked when we were at the Avery Memorial, there was a lot of trash there. Now,
Yeah.
I don't think it's everybody throwing stuff out. I think there's a lot of trash blowing when the trash is picked up and the
Mhm.
guys dump it, you can see trash blowing all the time. So I don't
Yeah.
always want to blame individual persons, but certainly I know if there's a trash can and I see trash, I will put it in there as long as I've got maybe gloves or something to cover my hand. But um, and I asked about a trash can being there, and he said, then the problem is who's going to pick it up. So I'm sure that they've got a route. I know they pick up in Groton. I know they've got a route. They must. So I'll ask him. I'll say, where are the other trash cans in town? And the reason I'm not trying to be,
I mean, they have,
I'm not trying to
they-
exclude
they have to
Groton.
be,
It's just that I know that downtown Mystic, near where I live, there's definitely a trash can issue. So I was very familiar with that. I went and took some pictures today. And to come to think of it, Nancy, I don't know where there are other trash cans throughout town.
well, we have to, all the parks, I think about Sutton Park, where all the kids go and where everybody is, there's very few garbage cans there. So I think it's a matter of they must know where the garbage cans are.
Yes. Yes.
But this is why we see so much garbage on the sides of the roads too, because there aren't cans. And if they're attractive, like even down near the new wayfinding and the gazebo, maybe we need a can there. I mean, there's
Okay.
probably new locations for them, but
Yeah, I need to ask him about that.
anyway, that's good.
Okay. All right. I will send him an
The
email.
gazebo.
And excellent. Okay, great. Awesome. All right. You guys, what am I forgetting here? I know I'm forgetting something major here. Something about the Avery Memorial. Oh, the other thing that Greg said is they were thinking about, I don't know if you guys are familiar with these. I'm not really. He said for next year, he has requested funding for what he called big belly units, which are trash cans. Tabitha, are you familiar with them? Do they kind of compact the trash?
Yeah, there's solar, and the
Mhm.
solar energy compacts the trash. So, and I know in Massachusetts there was a program for a long time where they just gave them to communities, but then they stopped doing that.
Of course. Well,
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, he'd like to get some, and he also said they're very good for art, either covering painting or possibly using the 3M application, something like that. So, but of course, that's in the budget. It hasn't been approved yet. He's requesting it. Yeah. So, Joy, do you have any experience with any kind of art, like sidewalk art, crosswalk art, road art, or anything like that?
When you say sidewalk art, are you talking about chalk art or what
No, I'm
specifically are
talking
you?
about, I'm sorry, crosswalk art is what I should have said. Anything other than just straight white crosswalks?
I don't have experience with it.
Or have you
What are you
seen it done in any installations?
What do you mean? Are you speaking of like a different mason? I think what you're looking at is a masonry design.
No, it's actually just paint.
Oh, okay. I don't have experience with that. I can look into it.
Oh, no. I'm just wondering if you've seen any installations that.
No.
Bruce was always sharing with us things that he comes into contact with, and when Wendy Berry was working with us, she would bring pictures of things, and it's just, since I have a feeling you're like up to your elbows in what you do, I thought maybe if you saw anything that you thought would enliven, or something we could bring to the corridor that we're talking about, we'd love to see it, I guess.
Okay.
Oh, Tabitha, that's what I'm forgetting. Tabitha Harkin. Do you have something you can show us today, dearest?
Yeah, and I don't want to jump in on that, but the paint question, I actually, before I left New Bedford, we had an organization called Super Flat that was doing great things with murals in the city, and they actually did a painting, a crosswalk painting for us as part of a grant we got, and I might have some pictures of it. I know the paint they used was like some kind of super durable paint that's a little bit different, and it was in limited colors. So I can actually email my friend there and see if they give us the specs on it, but
Oh, that would be great. Yeah, because I want everybody to see what I'm talking about, because I'm hoping that we can do things with plantings, with signage, with art, and then maybe with some either a mural or paint, something painted. We talked about this, on the ground or the crosswalks. But all right.
yeah, it's
You know,
great.
I'll give you another suggestion too. If we can't do anything with the sidewalks and the crossings, it would be nice if we could maybe enhance the signage where you do have a crosswalk, because it's really a problem, safety problem.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will go zipping through downtown Mystic at 40, 50 miles an hour, for instance, and you really do have to watch where you're going in a crosswalk.
Mm-hmm.
But, if you had a sign that was up there, they have those crossing signs they have
Yeah.
that show you where a crossing is. If we could do something with that to color it up and enhance it, that might be an alternate suggestion if we can't do anything with the crosswalk.
To bring your eye to it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
It'd
All
be
right.
good to see though, Tabitha, whatever you can get to show us, give us more thought.
Yeah. Get us
Yeah,
excited and inspired.
So I have a little PDF I'm going to share with you guys. So let me just find it. Okay. So the first area we talked about was the Newtown Road and Route 1 intersection where we're putting up, this is the existing sign, but we're putting up a new sign. And I went out there a couple days ago just to verify, and there really isn't a lot of room. It's about 2 feet right there to put any plantings in. There's some big cedar trees behind it too. So I sketched up a simple planting plan, and what you're seeing here is the sign in the middle. We could have maybe mountain laurel behind it if we got rid of the cedar trees. They're kind of ratty looking that are existing that are out there.
Mm-hmm.
You could put the hydrangeas to either end there. And then I have a row of Montauk daisies and then an alternating row of the red monarda and the liriope. So the elevation sketch there it's just a rough sketch to give you an idea.
Yeah.
Nice.
I love it. I love it.
Beautiful.
It's very simple.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
But I love it. I love it.
So just to remind you, the plants we chose were these. So this is the Montauk
yeah.
daisy.
I
Very
love
nice.
it. I love it.
Love that enthusiasm. Wow. All right.
That's great. That's the best presentation I've ever given. Thank you. And then I just put a rough cost estimate together for it. So, here we have the bee balm daisy, blue hydrangea, the lily turf, and the mountain laurel at an approximate of 535, which is way under 1,000.
Yeah.
That we can do.
The mountain
you-
laurel might come in a little higher than that, but
Can you send me a copy of that pricing?
yeah, absolutely. I'll send this out to you.
Okay.
And remember, I want to remind you that there may be some money. Isn't that what you said, Tabitha, when they put that sign in?
Yeah, so I mean, as part of the phase 1 signage program, so we're putting in that sign, a kiosk sign downtown Mystic, and then a bunch of metal signs throughout the town, and we're spending about 70,000 total on the whole package. And part of that 70,000 might have some money for plants. I mean, if it's under 1,000, I think we can fit it right into that. But then as Leanne said, the Rotary is also looking to pitch in 10,000, so that could easily cover the landscaping as well.
Okay.
So I think we're in good shape with that.
Okay. Awesome.
So then just to move right along, I did a little sketch for par 4, because we talked about that too.
Right.
So par 4, you have this planting bed that's about 45 feet by 23 feet. So it's a pretty sizable bed, but it's definitely would be full sun because there's no trees or anything right there. So what I was thinking was you kind of do similar to a little xeriscaping. I did spent some time out west and I think it stuck with me, but
Right. Tell them what xeriscaping means.
so it's when you do planting that a planting plan that really relies more on things like gravel and boulders and features instead of plants themselves, because it's drought tolerant. It's you see a lot of it in like Arizona.
Low maintenance.
Very low
right?
maintenance. Very low maintenance. So
Low
this,
maintenance, but attractive.
yeah, exactly. So you mentioned grasses, and I went with that. So this is a mix of Carl Foster grass, which I love because it gets really tall. It's kind of goldeny.
Mhm.
I have some pictures here. And then miscanthus, which is a pretty basic feathery grass. And then blue fescue, which is a little tufty and bluish.
Yep.
And then the liriope again to fill in. So that's the ground cover you see. So those are from the Carl Foster grasses on the left. Then you see the miscanthus and then the blue fescue and the liriope.
Ah, I am impressed, Tabitha.
I love it. I love it. Let's do it.
So that would be a nice low maintenance, drought tolerant mix of plantings, just grasses. And you could, I mean, it's a nice coastal look. So you could do like maybe sand or pebbles underneath it. You could even put some roses or hydrangea in there if you're going to water it more. And then I did a cost estimate on this one too. And it's a little bit higher because it's a bigger area. And this might be a little sparse. I always get sensitive that I'm not planting enough, but it's about 1,300.
But the grass is, well, I'm not sure I'm not sure about the Carl Foster, but the silver grass, doesn't that get bigger every year too? Take up a bunch of space?
Yeah, they're all gonna get big. So I think I left some space for that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, if you plant it so it looks perfect the day that it's planted, that's not a good idea. Because what I'm counting on is that if we do this, then they can get somebody to water it. I'm actually hoping that Par 4, an employee or owner of Par 4 would do it because it would benefit their business. Benefits the town, but it benefits their business too. Okay.
I'm sure Martha would take
water.
care of it.
Okay.
With the grasses, now sometimes you can split grasses that you already have. And I could probably get some grasses that way. If, my daughter-in-law has a lot of grasses and she splits them pretty regularly, so I could probably get some there.
But you want to get the specific ones that the planting is called for, because that's how it works. But
well, yeah,
I'm assuming she's going to share this with us, or share it with me, and I can send it out and see if your daughter has those specific ones. Because originally, when we talked about doing this, I'm like, well, I can dig up this and I can dig up that, and I think that probably isn't the way we're gonna make it look nice. I might have some rocks.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
You're gonna need some rocks, yeah.
Probably, what do you think, parks, or do you think Public Works would help us get the rocks?
You could go anywhere in Groton and get rocks.
Yeah, but we're talking
Works are probably, yeah.
Boulders. I know, these are boulders.
Yeah.
But
I'm not going to roll one down the street for you.
Yeah. I bet you they had a lot of them when they were building the middle school. Well, so I want you guys to realize that Tabitha has she's got her master's in landscape design, so she's got a lot of great skills. So, and she's
used them very nicely for us. This is marvelous.
Yes. So thank you so much, Tabitha. We're not going to give her a huge 10-acre plot to take care of because that might interfere with her actual regular job. However, what she thinks of this as fairly small. To us, it isn't, but to her skills, that she can do it. So I really appreciate Tabitha. If you want to send that over to me, I can send it out to the crew.
Yeah.
We appreciate that so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it really is.
All right. So one of the things I'm trying to do is talk less, listen more. I don't think it worked out too well this time. I'm trying.
Cindy, you're
also-
doing fine. You're absolutely doing fine. Don't worry about it.
And I'm trying to keep it to an hour, but that didn't happen either this time. But I really appreciate all of your time. This is turning out to be like my favorite thing to do right now. So I love my group, our group, not my group. And we have such wonderful additions now. And not to put you guys on this, well, I'll send you an email to ask. I have a question for Joy and Tabitha, but I'm not going to put them on the spot and make them answer in public. So actually I can. It was just that I'm sending you, I'm including you, Lisa, who is Mr. Burt's secretary, who takes care of sending everybody everything, the links. And I've asked for the past 2 months to have Tabitha, and more months than that for Tabitha. And then I just added Joy. She needs to send you the link. And she says, should I just include them all the time? And I said, well, let me ask, because I don't know that Joy wants to be included all the time. We'd love to have you. And that doesn't mean you have to attend. And hopefully we're going to be working more towards the art part. At least Bruce is keeping his fingers crossed that's going to happen. Is it okay if Lisa includes you sends you the monthly agenda and the time for the meeting?
That's fine. Yeah, my time commitment's a little limited with
Yep.
currently, but I'd love to continue helping with the art side of things. So you can continue
Right. I don't
looping
want
me
you
in
to
on
feel
that.
like obligated, but we love to have your support and your input.
Sure.
And Tabitha, if you say no, I'm probably going to be crushed. Or you just
I'll be here. I'll be here. Definitely.
All right, right. Well, we're thrilled to have both of you. You're wonderful additions, and you bring lots of different skills to our group. So I appreciate it. Bruce, we're looking forward to you coming back.
Thank
Looking
you.
forward to maybe meeting outside in the future. And
When is our next meeting?
next
Speaking of
meeting
meeting.
is Monday, March 8th, 5:30 via Zoom.
Terrific. And we'll get busy in between.
Yeah. So is it do I have to have a motion for adjournment? Do I?
Yeah, I'll move that.
I'll second it.
Okay. I guess I should have
We're all
said.
in favor.
Oh yeah.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I hope you all got to say what you needed to say.
Yes, we did. Nice meeting.
Okay.
Good
Yep,
job.
very good.
All right. All right. If you
Good.
see your friend Leanne, let him know I'm going to send this next meeting to him too.
I will.
Okay.
And I will get his information and send it to you so you can share it with everybody, Cindy.
Okay. Awesome.
Good.
All right.
Oh,
Thank you
good.
so much, guys. We are
Thanks.
adjourned.
Good.
Cindy.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye
Thank you.
now. Take care.
Bye-bye.